That time of year, it's happening where, getting out, being adventurous, it can also lead to possible injuries, even just walking out of your front door. So what do you do if you hit a patch of ice? Dr. Scott Zimmer, orthopedic specialist from Go Ortho, is joining us in the studio today to help us out. This is something that I don't care how old you are, this time of year, the ice we have seen, it can be, it can cause a lot of damage, I guess I should say, on any part of your body.
Absolutely. You go out on a day like this, it's 50 degrees, and you think, no problems, I'm going to walk, do whatever I want. But the melting and thawing that we have in Cleveland really makes that deep ice stay there, and you get these ice patches that can kind of hit you out of the clear blue. And, we talk about simple falls and things, but they can be life-threatening, especially the older you get and you fall and you break your hip. Common injuries we see all the time are you break your wrist, you break your shoulder, and the worst one that we worry about, especially as you get older, is even going out to get the mail as you fall and you break your hip, and that can be life-threatening.
And even ankles too. I'm sure you
Absolutely.
see it, but the most common, you would say that you're seeing arms, your wrists.
I'd say the most
hips?
common number one is you fall on the outstretched wrist, from if you're skiing, snowboarding, or just falling on the ice, you go back and you put your hand out and you can break that bone called the distal radius. And so that's the most common, but you can fall on your shoulder also, but also twist in the ankle, but you can dislocate the ankle also from that too. So it's serious, but there's a lot of steps you can take to be careful about it.
Well, yeah, let's talk about tips, because I'm sure you see everything. You probably have the best tips out there when it comes to keeping people safe.
I think the biggest thing is slow down first and foremost. Know, what situation you're in. If you're going out to get the mail, you're going to wear the right shoes. You're going to go slowly. Almost say, when you're in a bad situation, you're going to walk side to side, almost like a penguin walk. You're going to take it easy. Don't go out in those moccasin slippers that have no traction on them. Be smart about it. And if you're going out for a nice dinner, and you're wearing high heel shoes and stuff, you better be careful. You get dropped off at the door,
Us
and
ladies.
don't take, because we see a lot of that too, because those, bottom of those shoes are real slick. So I think it's being careful and being smart.
I just thought of this one off the top of my head. I'm sure that the answer to this, there probably isn't one, but I want to ask you, if you find yourself in a situation you begin to fall, is there a better way to do it than another?
Everybody asks that, and I think if you've ever taken those martial art classes, they teach you how to fall properly. But for most of us, that's a different thing. So I think if you're falling down, I think the issue is, what's the most thing you want to protect? You want to protect your head. So that head injury, hitting your head, is the biggest thing. So sure, is it better to put out your arm and and not go down on your side and risk hitting your head down? Absolutely. So there's no perfect way other than the martial art way, but I think protecting your head first and foremost is number one.
Also, I know people automatically think they need to go to an ER. Now, how do you know the difference between, okay, well, maybe this is something where I can go to Go Ortho instead of an ER?
That's the perfect thing. I think mothers, fathers with their children especially too, that you have an injury and you're worried about, am I going to go to the ER? Am I going to wait 3 or 4 hours? Is it life-threatening? Is it limb-threatening? And I think that's the biggest thing. If you can get up and bear weight on an ankle that you twisted, or you look at your ankle or your wrist and there's not horrible deformity, there's no severe numbness, and especially sometimes the severe injuries, the bone can come through the skin, which is severe. Anything like that, or if you're elderly and you fell and broke your hip and you can't stand, that's where you call EMS the squad. But anything else that you can control the pain, put ice on it, take some ibuprofen or Tylenol, things like that under a doctor's care, those are times you think about it.
Care there too, in a sense, right? Where you go to an ER, you have no idea how long you're going to be waiting in an ER.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's definitely, it's always good, but there's downfalls when you're dealing with these kind of injuries to going to an ER versus
Absolutely, because the wait, getting the right diagnosis. People think you go to the emergency room, you're seeing an orthopedic specialist surgeon like myself. You're not. They're on call, but most times it's a basic triage. You're going to go there, you're going to wait, and maybe you don't even get the right splint. Or the right initial treatment, and all you're given is a number of an orthopedic surgeon like myself to call. So Go Ortho was developed by my partner, Dr. Ruben Goeasy, a few years ago to fix that need. So when people have an injury that's non-life or limb-threatening, you can go to the Go Ortho without an appointment or call, get seen for that, start the treatment, start the bracing. If we need an MRI, if we need x-rays, if you need a cast, that can be done point of service for a lot less cost also too, and a lot less wait time.
So you're there from start to finish with the treatment process, and again, go to Go Ortho?
Absolutely. Go Ortho. I think it's up on the screen.
Yep.
You can find that on the internet, and the number should be on the screen. But also we have Westlake, Beechwood locations, and probably starting the East Side location too to cover people for it. So I think it's an exciting time that people want that care quickly and the right diagnosis.
Yep. They need it. Thank you so much for being here and
Thanks for
informing
having
us
me.
as well.